Hello everybody, we're here again. I have done a podcast previously on negative energy and aura, and today I want to talk about negative energy in the mind, particularly in the mind, because I did a bit of research and realised that people actually have a lot of negative energy in their mind. So I thought you might like to explore that as well in yourself, because it's not always our fault that we have negative energy in our minds. Some of us have had very difficult lives, and we've had very many difficult things that have happened to us, and trauma, terrifying things, frightening things. Other people have had to live in environments that were very negative, and as a child we just absorb that negativity into the way we think, because that's how mum and dad thought, or that's how our family thought. And the other thing is that we might be actually living in a really negative environment right now. Perhaps we're in a difficult relationship, perhaps we've got problems within our living in places where we're living. Please don't be hard on yourself if you have negative energy in your mind. It's sometimes just a response to what we're living in, really, or what's happened to us. However, if you want to get better, you'll find that this negative energy that's in your mind will actually really colour every part of your day, and it's good to get rid of it. It's very easy to see negative energy in the mind in other people. It's because of how they think and what they say and how they act, and it's really obvious that they have a lot of negative energy, and their thought forms are very negative. They will always focus on the worst thing, and if you try to say anything positive, then they will always find the negative. There's a little saying that the winner finds a positive in everything and to every problem, and the person who's not very positive, negative person, finds a negative and no solution. They'll never find a solution to anything that you come up with, and that's how you can tell a person's in a negative place mentally, because you will offer solutions and they will offer problems for the solutions. You might find yourself doing this, and that's probably a good sign for you that you're probably holding some negative energy in your mind. The way to get rid of it is to use your modalities. I usually tap it out. I use my tapping and tap out any negative energy that I have in my mind. Then I'll work on doing a hypnosis where I bring myself down. We've spoken about this before. Bring yourself down and then get rid of it. I do a healing on myself, like a Reiki healing, to let go of negative energy in my mind. Ask my guides to help me as well, and God, as I see my God, you do it as you see your God, to help you release your negative energy. It's just energy, and energy can be released. We can release it. We can let it go. We can change it. If you want to journal, that works out well. You can find out all the negative thoughts that you have and sort of get them out of your system. And also speaking to yourself, maybe not, at work, they'll think you're crazy. Just speak to yourself out loud, either when you go for a walk or in the shower or at home, and let out all those negative thought forms, because they're like little bubbles in the mind. I've done a podcast on this. Our thought forms are little clouds in our mind, and we can have positive ones and negative ones. And if we have a lot of negative thought forms, it will cause negative energy in our mind. It's the way we think. Then we need to look at our behaviour, and we need to change that. So every time we go to say something negative or put up a block to a solution, a positive solution, we need to stop that. Very often it's taught from our environment, from a parent. Also, it can be genetic, that you're a little bit wired that way mentally, to think that way. It's almost like we protect ourselves from maybe getting disappointed. We don't want to have any hope because we had a hope before and got disappointed, so we don't want to be crushed again. However, by having this negative energy in our mind, it sets us up for daily torture to ourselves, because we're not really ever going to be happy, and we won't be happy for other people's happinesses, and the vibration of the mind will be less. Now, mind is part of our aura, and it's vibrating at a certain rate, and when we have a lot of negative thoughts, the vibration is lower. However, when we release them and replace them with positive thoughts, then the vibration of the mind is higher, and I believe that protects us from illness, mental and emotional illness, psychological illness. I also think that when we have negative thoughts and negative energy in the mind, it actually precipitates and sets us up for illness and disease. Underpinning many diseases, or most diseases and illness that are serious, are a negative thought pattern or emotions, because they go together. We think it, we feel it, we feel it, we think it. Doesn't really matter which way it goes, but we want to get rid of it. Attached to these negative thoughts are emotions. They're usually fear, anger, hurt. Those are the major ones, resentment, and you might want to have a look at those as well. Today I'm focusing, though, on this negative energy in the mind, letting it go. Let go of being like that anymore. You don't have to be like that anymore. It might have been how you were brought up. It might have been the way you relate to people who are similar to you. However, it's really bad for you, and it's not going to make your life happier. And as we get older, we accumulate more and more negative energy in the mind, and we become more grumpy. We turn out exactly like our mum and dad when we said, please tell me if I turn out like mum and dad, and nobody tells us. But we do. And that steers us into a much darker place. The aura needs to be vibrating at a certain rate to be functioning well, to feel light, to feel happy. And the more we bog it down with these negative thought forms in our mind, the less ability it has. It doesn't matter if we're eating healthy and drinking juices and running around the block and, resting, because if we have negative thoughts, the aura vibration will still be low and it will stay low. And yes, the food's good and rest and all these things, these practices we do are good. However, it's all about vibration with the aura. That's what I'm talking about, the vibration. Let it go. Do your things to let go of the negative energy in your mind. You might find it helps you with your depression and your anxiety and your stress and your worry, because these are all very negative energy thought forms. When we're stressed, we have a tendency to think the worst of everything. It's all not working. It's all too hard. I'm overwhelmed. And those negative thought forms lodge in the mind and keep us down. Instead of going, I will get through this. I am strong. I'm capable of doing this. This time will pass. It's going to end. That's a more positive thing to be saying to yourself. It's almost our self-talk, our negative energy. So you need to talk to yourself in a more positive way. And that also goes to the people who you're with. So don't get caught into their negative energy and from their mind. And you're having a talk to them, be sympathetic and empathetic and understanding when they're speaking to you. But don't get trapped into that negative and don't pick it up. That's their negative stuff. And honestly, life throws us some really negative experiences. It's not always easy. And you're going to have to be honest with yourself. Yes, you do feel really, really crap about this. However, that's a little part or a part of your life, and it's probably going to be transient, and you can still maintain some form of positivity. Filling yourself up with positive thoughts is very important. It's where you put your focus, as I've said before in another podcast, it's where you put your focus. So yes, your partner's just died, your relationship's just broken down, you've got family problems, you can't get your business to work, but that's not all of every moment of your life. The sun is shining, it's beautiful, you're enjoying this cappuccino, you're with your best friend, you've got love in your life, and that's the other thing, to realise that you are loved by many people. When people lose those ones they love through various ways it happens on earth, you can feel unloved, and it's actually not true. You are loved. So also fill up your mind when you do your meditation, fill it up with positive light, fill it up with love, fill it up with loving thoughts, because loving thoughts are very high vibration. And speaking lovingly to people and saying loving things to people is very high vibration. When you say to someone, I love you, I'm just sending you this text to tell you I love you, that's a high vibration. And that thought is absorbed into their mind. Everything that is said to us gets absorbed into our minds to process it. We have to make sure we don't hang on to the negative ones, but the positive ones are actually good to have in our mind. Start listening to what you say, start listening to the people around you, and make a decision that from now on you're going to release all the negative energy using your modalities from your mind and replace them with positive thought forms, even when you're going through difficult times. It's even more important during that time. I wish you well with this. I've worked on it a lot because I had a lot of negativity this life, and I just feel I don't want to think negatively. I don't want it to make me bitter and twisted. I want to come out of this and become a survivor, and that's the other thing. Do not be a victim to your circumstance. You can sit on the pity pot and feel sorry for yourself for a while, and that's fine because that's a process we need to have, the grieving. However, we need to also have positive thoughts and let go of all the negative thoughts in our minds. Our mind is a powerful storehouse of everything of who we are, and by releasing those negative thoughts and replacing them, our whole well-being will improve. Everything will improve, because I think that the mind and the body are very connected. I do a podcast on that. They are like two orbs, and they intersect like two circles overlapping each other. So what one happens to one will happen to the other. So for good health and maybe feeling better, let go of your negative energy in your mind. And I'm sending you lots of love and lots of light.